Yes, sir.
Now see, so these are the vacuum tubes or conventional tubes. So triode, tetrode, and pentode. Okay. So what are the limitations of this? So we have this is take interelectrode capacitance, so lead inductance, transit time effect, so gain bandwidth product limitation, and these below three are the power losses, you can say. So conventional tubes fail to operate above 1 gigahertz. So due to these things, right? Now you can see one by one. So now this is the triode. Triode means three terminal device. You can see. So there is an anode. We have the cathode. There is a grid here to control this. So here the electrons are traveled from cathode to anode. This is the cathode. So this is the anode, and there is a grid here. So now you can see these capacitance are these are the interelectrode capacitance. Capacitance nothing but so two conductive plates, in between there is a dielectric material. There is a capacitance. So here, so you can take these two terminals, suppose anode and grid. So in between there is a interelectrode capacitance. So CGP, there is a capacitance between grid and plate. So anode call as a plate. So G grid, P is the plate. So CGP, and so CGK between grid and cathode. So CPK between cathode and anode. These are the capacitance. So between these three terminals of the triode. So now what is the capacitance actually? Capacitance nothing but C is equal to epsilon A by D, and XC, the reactance of the capacitance nothing but 1 by 2 pi FC. So suppose F is more large at suppose micro frequency range. So this frequency is very high. It's more than 1 gigahertz. If it's more than 1 gigahertz, what about the reactance? So reactance is very less. If it is very high, so it's inversely proportional. The reactance is very less. So very less means there is a scope of short circuit between anode and grid. So here these capacitances are between these terminals. So they are at high frequency. So the reactance is very low, and there may be scope to short circuit, and its output end also. So we're using the capacitance. So if the capacitance is low, the output load is also very low. So the output load is low means output power is nothing but power is equal to current in I square into R. So current into load. If load is very less, so automatically power also less. So that is the problem of the capacitance effect. This is the interelectrode capacitance. So I will share these notes also. So you can draw this diagram, and you can say these are the interelectrode capacitance between all these three terminals. So this is the relation at high frequencies. So XC is very low. So low means there may be scope of short circuit between these terminals. And if you can use for the output side, so there also if reactance is very less, so output low power is less. This is the interelectrode capacitance. So now coming to the lead inductance. So lead inductance, now we can see here. So these are the inductance. So plate inductance, grid inductance, and LK. So now XL is equal to 2 pi into L, 2 pi F into L. So here directly proportional. If its F is very high, so the reactance of inductance is very high. Okay, if it is very high means so this input signal will not reach the terminal of the plate. Will not reach the plate. So if a common lead inductance is the inductance associated with the electrodes of vacuum tubes. So at input impedance match problem at microwave frequency node. So small fraction of input reach to terminal of amplification. So the inductance of the cathode is so here simply you can see from this. So if it is directly proportional at high frequency range, so F is high in gigahertz range. This reactance also very high. So whatever the input we are giving at the terminals, that will not reach our triode. So there is a problem. There is an impedance problem here. So this is the lead inductance. So then coming to the transit time or angle effect. So transit time or transit angle. So transit time or transit angle effect. So transit time is nothing but distance by velocity. So time, so t is equal to distance by velocity. So you can take it to the angle. Angle is equal to omega tau. So omega into d by v naught. Okay. So for any device, the transit time should be very less. So time less means the electron will reach faster to the cathode to anode, move from cathode to anode. So any device, if time should be less, so then only the movement of electron is so very fast from cathode to anode. So time less means very fast. So more time means very slow. Okay. So in normal frequency range, less than 1 gigahertz, below micro frequency range, so the transit time we're having for these triodes are so very less. So that can reach the electrons reach instantaneously the anode plate from the cathode. Now see this one at low frequencies, the transit time is very less. So tau is less than so time period of the signal. So the electrons reach instantaneously. So the anode plate from cathode. It will work for less frequencies. At high frequencies, what happened? The potential between cathode and grid changes 10 to 100 times during the electron transit time. So in that case, so compared to microwave signal frequency, so the transit time is more. In microwave signal frequency, the transit time is more. So than the signal frequency. So there it will take more time the electron move from so cathode to anode. There is a mismatch now. There is a mismatch between the signal frequency and this transit time of the tube. So because of that, so electron may oscillate back and forth in the cathode grid space or return to the cathode. Now there is a problem. So at micro frequency range, at high frequencies, so the transit time, see time is so more than the so time period of the signal. So there is a problem. The grid potential during negative half cycle removes the energy given to the electron in positive half cycle. So electron may oscillate back and forth in the cathode grid space or return to the cathode. So there is a problem at the high frequency range. Okay, this is the transit time effect. So coming to the gain and bandwidth. So for normal electronic circuits, so we are saying so gain bandwidth product is constant. So G into BW, the product of G and B, gain and bandwidth, so is constant. That means if you want to more gain, so bandwidth is less. If you want to more bandwidth, gain should be less. There is a trade-off between so gain and bandwidth. You want more, so you can sacrifice the bandwidth. You want more gain, you can sacrifice the bandwidth. Suppose you want more bandwidth for any device, so you can compromise on the gain. So the gain bandwidth product is constant. So for the electronic circuits, so but in the case of micro signal frequency range, so we have the special devices. So to get the more gain with more bandwidth also. So this won't work for the our high frequency range. So then coming to the power losses, and power losses, we can have the conductor losses and radiation losses and dielectric losses. So conductor losses are more at micro frequency range. So radiation, so electrode pins start radiating at micro frequency range, and have dielectric losses also more at micro frequency range. That means, so what are the traditional conventional tubes? So we are using earlier for this development of klystron tubes. So they are not up to the mark in the micro frequency range. Now these are the limitations we have. So inter-electrode capacitance, lead inductance, transit time effect, gain bandwidth product limitation, and we have the power losses. So there is a conductor loss, radiation loss, and dielectric loss. So this is more than sufficient to explain the limitations of conventional tubes or losses at micro frequency range. It is one of the very important question. You please remember this. Okay, so you need to remember this. Okay, I will share this PPT also. So this is more than sufficient. Okay, so these are the limitations you can write. Okay, so these are the conventional tubes. And so how can this means? So you can draw this diagram and say, so here the capacitance is between grid and plate. These are the between terminals. So due to high frequency, it may be short circuit. So this inductors is like this. High frequency, it may provide so more impedance between the input and the our triode. So transit time, low frequency. So this time is more very less, but high frequency. So it's the very more compared to the signal frequency. Here the electrons may be oscillate back and forth. Okay. So then gain bandwidth product. So there is a trade-off. So for normal cases, So, but in the conventional tubes, it will not to the mark. So, we have a special type of devices for to get the more gain and more bandwidth. So, in my klystron tubes. So, power losses. So, we have the conductor loss, radiation loss, and dielectric loss. So, more at micro frequency range. So, this also the electrode pins start radiating at micro frequency range and more at micro frequency. Okay. So, these are the limitations. So now coming to the types of microwave tubes, we have two types of microwave tubes. One is the O-type tube and M-type tubes. O-type tubes and M-type tube. So O-type is linear beam tube and cross field tube. So linear beam means here using the electron beam. Now see here, this is the one of the klystron you can say. So electron will travel from cathode to anode. Here cathode and anode. So later I will explain. There is a, so these are called as the klystron mounts, cavities, resonant cavities. Okay, so here the thing is, what is the difference between these two is, so here, so the electric field and magnetic field is parallel to each other. So in linear beam tube, electric field and magnetic fields are parallel to each other. So in M-type tube, these are the cross field tubes where magnetic field and electric fields are so perpendicular to each other. So based on this, there are two types of tubes. So linear beam tubes and cross field tubes. So linear beam tubes, so magnetic field is parallel with the electric field. Magnetic field is parallel with the electric field. In the cross field tubes, we have magnetic field and electric fields are perpendicular to each other. So these are the O-type tube and M-type tube. The major difference between O-type and M-type, linear beam tubes and cross field tubes is, so in linear beam tube, so magnetic field is parallel to the electric field. In M-type tube, magnetic fields and electric fields are perpendicular to each other. So now, so these are the O-type microwave tubes. So linear beam tubes, so there is the two types. So we have the cavity resonators and slow wave structures. So our thought in it, so we dealt with the cavity resonators. So in cavity resonator, you have the klystron. So we have the klystron, so you have the reflex klystron and we have the two cavity klystron or multi cavity klystron. So one is the cavity, the O-type tubes. O-type tube means where magnetic field and electric field are parallel. Okay. So here cavity type and slow wave structure type. So to so inculcate velocity modulation in the klystron tube, in the tubes, we have the, so cavity resonators are there and slow wave structures are there. In cavity resonator, we have the klystron. You have the klystron. So klystron has the reflex klystron and multi-cavity klystron. So minimum 2 cavity, 3 cavity, 4 cavity like that. So slow wave structure is there. So where we can use in this type of tube. So there in klystrons are these O-type tubes. So there is a concept of velocity modulation. So velocity modulation means, so we receive the carrier as electron beam and there is RF signal. So now, so there is velocity modulation. There is a combining of this velocity, RF signal and electron beam. So there is a velocity modulation takes place. Velocity, I will explain later, velocity modulation. So for that purpose, so there resonators are there, here cavity resonators, they are having the slow wave structure. So to interact the electronic beam and RF signal. So here, so there are two types are there. So forward wave and backward wave. Forward wave and so the moment of electron beam in the tube, there is a forward wave and backward wave is there. In forward wave, we have the helix TWT or coupled to TWT. TWT means so traveling wave tube. So helix TWT and coupled cavity TWT, traveling wave tube. So in backward wave, we have the BWA and BWO, backward wave amplifier and backward wave oscillator. So backward wave amplifier and backward wave oscillator. Okay. So in M-type tubes, we have the magnetron. M-type tube, we have the magnetron, where we are using in our microwave ovens, magnetron. Okay. So this, later this we'll see next class. Now these are the basic things in our unit number 3. So unit number 3 dealt with. So what is the limitations of conventional tubes at microwave frequency range? And next we have the two cavity klystron, that is an amplifier, and reflex klystron, that is an oscillator. Only these things. So in the two cavity klystron, so we can see what is structure of two cavity klystron. So how it will amplify the microwave signal, that we can see. Then what is the velocity of electron in the klystron tube? Then what is meant by, there is an important thing. So bunching process, electron bunching process. Then you can find the what is the output power, then what is the efficiency of the two cavity klystron. In the same way for reflex klystron, then we can see how a reflex klystron acts as an oscillator at microwave frequency to generate the microwave frequency. So what is the meant by electron bunching? So what are the modes of operation in reflex klystron? So then what is the velocity of electron? And what is the output power in reflex klystron? Then at the end we are going to see, so what is the efficiency of the reflex klystron? Okay, so these things we are going to see in our third unit. So but your exam, so we have up to already this limitations of conventional tubes, conventional tubes. So then the operation of two cavity klystron, so with applicable diagram. Suppose any operation to explain the operation of the two cavity klystron or reflex klystron, so you need to explain using Applegate diagram only. Okay, Applegate diagram will deal how the electrons or bunches are formed in cavity in the klystron tube. How electron bunches are formed, that we will see. Okay, so now have any doubt to this? Anyone, please? Okay. Now only 50 are there. One is missing. So today 11 members absent. Why? Tuesday people are not attending the classes, or they are sleeping. Okay. So then the important thing is, so you need to submit your assignment before Saturday. Okay. And you have a test on Friday, that is on first hour. So 20 marks from unit number